Welcome to Profile. I'm your host, Paula Hersey, and today we're talking education again, but this is master's education, and this is a partnership between Endicott College and Capabilities. With me today, I have Brian Blair, the clinical director from Capabilities, and I have Dr. Michael Dorsey, director of the Institute for Behavioral Studies from Endicott College. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about Capabilities and then maybe why this partnership sort of evolved with Endicott College?
So Capabilities is an agency on Cape that serves over 350 individuals with disabilities. We provide services in residential settings as well as day habilitative settings. A big part of what Capabilities does as well is it provides community employment opportunities. So I think a lot of the viewers may be familiar with the Capabilities Farm,
Yep.
or the Saltworks program, or even the vending program. A lot of people that we support work in those settings. We also provide shared living and adult family care options for individuals with disabilities.
Excellent. So this is all adults with disabilities.
Correct.
It's not children.
Right.
And as a clinical director and looking for employees with the certifications that you need to help these individuals, is that kind of how this partnership with Endicott? I mean, this is a master's program coming literally right to Capabilities.
Right, and part of the reason is because of the exponential growth in diagnoses of children and adults with autism. That's part of the reason the master's program really does target clinical supports for children and adults with autism, but also all developmental disabilities, and the degree program can be used in a variety of settings. But that's primarily Capabilities' concern. When we see more and more adults diagnosed with autism, we want to make sure that the staff at Capabilities can provide the services appropriately, and we know that they're coming. As children turn 22, there's going to be more and more need for that support.
Right, and this is a certified, board certified behavior analyst. Dr. Michael Dorsey from Endicott College, you are taking this program that you've had at Endicott College,
yes,
and you're bringing it literally to the campus, the Linden campus at Capabilities, and it's not just for Capabilities employees, it's for...
No, it's for anyone that lives on Cape.
Okay.
This is applied behavior analysis is something that's extraordinarily useful for special education teachers in the public schools, parents of kids with special needs, especially parents of children diagnosed on the autism spectrum. Even nurses working in pediatricians' offices could take this coursework and really become much more adept at being able to understand and provide appropriate services to people with these various forms of developmental disabilities.
So what's the thinking of actually taking a program that Endicott College does in its own campus and bringing it somewhere else? What's the advantage of that?
Well, we founded the Institute for Behavioral Studies in 2007. If you know where Beverly, Massachusetts is, it's way up on the North Shore, and it's sort of tucked away. It's a 10-minute drive from 128 up there. So it's not something that for a commuter is really easy to get to. And what we decided early on was that the best way to deliver our services was to partner with affiliate programs around Greater Boston. So we began to develop affiliate relationships with agencies like Crossroads Schools in Melmart, New England, the May Institute,
Yep.
that all sort of circle Boston. And what became apparent was when we looked at the demographics, there are, to our knowledge, no graduate programs, especially in special education and ABA, anywhere on Cape Cod.
Right.
If you want to get a master's degree in ABA or special ed and you live on Cape, you're going to cross the bridge to do it. Or you're going to take it online, and a lot of people don't like to do online programs. They prefer the face-to-face model where they're actually sitting with other students and they're right there with the professor in the room.
Right, and you had mentioned earlier when we were talking that this is a cohort model. So you're together with classmates that really literally you can network with, learn from as well. So explain a little bit of what some people may not know what a cohort model is.
Brian is enrolled in our PhD program through Endicott, which is a cohort model. So I think he can probably comment better.
Sure.
Yeah, I think, one of the advantages of the program that we're bringing to the Cape is that it's very short in duration. So you can get a master's degree and a board certification pretty quickly, but part of that is there's a lot of coursework. So it's a lot of work in a short amount of time. So having fellow students that are doing the same work that you're doing at the same time, also juggling other things like family obligations and full-time employment. You're all going through very similar situations with the same projects, the same due dates. So it's really, really helpful to have that kind of emotional support available outside of just a professor or the college. You have actual students that are doing the same work, and it's been really, really helpful for me as a student, just knowing that there's somebody at the other end of an email or a phone call that will understand what I'm going through and the pressures of getting things done on time and juggling all the other things in life.
And even studying.
Oh,
right, yeah.
Some of the
study
groups that
yep.
you can do that.
And with the advantage of technology that we have today, you can go on Google and set up what's called a Google Hangout. And so Brian's on Cape, somebody else is in Connecticut.
Right.
We've got one of the students in one of our cohorts is in Dubai.
Oh my goodness.
And they can all open up this Google Hangout, see each other, talk to each other, put papers up, and see what each other's working on.
Right.
So it's amazing what you're able to do today with technology.
So this particular program is going to be at the Linden campus, which is your Hyannis campus. Talk a little bit about the actual requirements to get into this program. You need your bachelor's, and now you're going to go for your master's, but if you already have some other degree, you can shorten this?
Well, there's really two overlapping programs that we're offering simultaneously. One is a master's in applied behavior analysis.
Okay.
It's 36 credits. You're going to complete it in about 15 to 18 months. In those 36 credits, 6 credits are an internship, so that counts towards your degree, and you get 9 credits of electives. So you can take courses in special education, you can, or autism. We have an autism master's degree that people can do that's separate and apart from this one. Or you could take courses in business administration. Anything that Endicott offers that sort of interests you, or you can take other ABA courses. And it all sort of works together, so you do your coursework, your internship, and then to become a board certified behavior analyst and eventually a licensed behavior analyst, you have to sit for a national exam.
Right. So this is really something that obviously folks at Capabilities, as you grow and provide more services for more folks on the Cape, I mean, special education teachers and other people, like you said, parents and folks that are interested in this type of program can sign up for this, and it's fairly easy to do that. We'll have a link on the screen for you to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and I think that's one of the things that we're actually looking forward to, so that with that cohort model, you do have different experiences in the same cohort, so you do have just different life experiences and different career goals and different clinical applications that we can talk about.
Right. And there's multiple agencies here on the Cape specifically that do similar work.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But signing up for the program, just to put a fine point on it, you go on, you get to that link. You go to Capabilities website. There's a link there. You go in. You take about 10 minutes to fill out an application. You pay a $50 application fee, and you are immediately eligible to take 2 courses. You don't have to get all of the rest of your transcripts and everything else in to be eligible immediately. Now, during the first semester, you do the rest of the stuff, you get all of the rest in, and then you're eligible to finish the program. But we've got courses that are beginning in February, and it seems like, oh no, I'll never be able to do that. It's going to take you literally half an hour, and you're going to be all signed up, you're going to be registered for class, and you start coming. Classes are going to be Monday nights and Tuesday nights at Capabilities, 4 to 8 p.m. So it's set up for a working professional. If somebody's interested and they want to do it, it's not too late to get involved.
Right, 4 to 8, what a great time period, because I know, folks that I know have gone through masters and have to travel off Cape. They're actually in that traffic at 4 o'clock for their 6 o'clock class, and then they don't get home until 11 o'clock or midnight, kind of thing. So obviously, that timing is fantastic right here on the Cape, even if you live in Eastham or Falmouth.
It's just a quick shot down, so yeah, it's not bad.
Right. So how did this partnership really, I know you talked about this, but what about the capabilities part of this? Why did you think this was good, and did you go out and seek this as well?
Well, I think as you mentioned earlier, you know, an agency like Capabilities, excuse me, is looking at the growing need for clinical services, especially when we're looking at adults that are turning 22 that have autism. That's really what we're looking at when it comes to the supports we're going to need to provide. And I think, you know, the executive director of Capabilities had this vision that, you know, we need to expand clinical support. Maybe not, you know, necessarily all master's level clinical support, but just as an agency as a whole, it would really be great to embed this type of clinical mindset across the agencies so that we can support a wide spectrum of individuals with different disabilities.
Right. Behavior analyst, what is that?
Behavior analysis is a profession that is grounded in objective measures of behavior, using reinforcement to try to teach people new skills in a very systematic way, taking data all the way through to make sure that we're actually changing someone's behavior, not using sort of anecdotal, yeah, well, I think they're doing better, but actually taking objective data, drawing graphs, looking at it, using reinforcement very systematically to teach and shape new behaviors so that we're working on people's social skills, we're working on challenging behaviors from time to time, we're working on adaptive behaviors, so people need to, you know, learn to cross the street safely, or go into a playground and not have somebody accost them. We can basically take applied behavior analysis and break it down to teach pretty much any kind of skill.
That's really important for your programs. I'm very familiar with you know, life skills and, like you said, rehabilitation and all the opportunities provided folks at Capabilities job-wise. So this will probably have a deep impact on your job opportunities and some individuals actually getting out into the workplace.
Absolutely. You know, we've started obviously with teaching those very discrete kind of observable skills, but adding that very analytical component to it will just make it a lot easier because we'll have the data, we'll know if a certain intervention is working, if a certain style of teaching is working or isn't. And ABA is very individualized. You know, we take the person and we do assessments and we figure out where they are, what their current level of support is, and then we build programs from there. So if you have somebody that is interested in community employment, but maybe doesn't have all of the skills necessary, whether it's a vocational skill or a social skill, we can break those down into really teachable components, more so than other interventions tend to break down. We really do want to really teach them systematically in order so that we at the end we do have a very marketable skill set.
Right. Is there other uses for the data, like grants and those kinds of things? So as you're gathering this, as you're teaching new skills and you're graphing this, is that data then available for, you know, even observational types of programs and things like that? I mean, I think I'm a data person. I love statistics, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, you have all this data. What do you do with that afterwards? What does somebody do with that data besides just the individual?
Right.
Can you then put all the individual data together into a group?
Well, our program is sort of modeled on what's called a scientist practitioner model.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is people are out in practice using previously created strategies for helping people and applying those in their daily work. But then when they run up against something that they can't find something in the literature, there's not something that's already been developed, then we sort of go into that scientist mode. And we begin to create, develop, validate in a very empirical, objective way, maybe new teaching strategies. So we come up with something new. And the students in our program, they're always going out to regional, national conferences, presenting papers, using that data as a way to sort of validate, to show that they're doing it. We've probably got 8 or 10 publications that are at one stage or another that are either under review or coming out in print. So that data, you know, if you develop something new, let's share it with other people so that they can use it as well.
Right. That's a beautiful model. You know, I always believe that lots of human services agencies live in silos. And if you can, you know, like you said, develop something new on hard science and on that data, then why not share that out where it can benefit the entire community of who you're serving?
Right.
The big difference, though, just to point this out, we're not the kind of scientist that sits back in their office, reads journals, and says, ooh, I think I want to run a study on this. Let me go find some people to run it with. We're out there in the front line working with people. We only do research studies when we run up against something that we can't find a solution for.
And the students that will be part of this program are going to be doing an intensive practicum where they'll be faced with clinical questions and issues on a daily basis, and they'll receive master's level supervision. So those things that you may not see are going to start cropping up, and then, well, I have somebody who struggles in this area, or I have somebody who says they want to learn this new skill. Well, we don't really have a great program for that yet. Let's do some investigating and see what we can come up with.
That's fantastic. Anything else you want to tell our viewers today about the program? I know it starts very quickly. It's going to run again after this one? Is this just a one and done, or no?
No,
No.
It will be a continual. It'll be a continual thing. If people can't get in right now, we'll probably start another cohort for September, and then it'll begin on an annual basis just to continue to run.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, information about cost and schedules. We have pretty much the entire course scheduled until 2017. So if people are interested about semester start dates and if they have vacations, I would really encourage them to go to the Capabilities website. There are links there that talk about the cost and the schedules. It lists all of the courses that you'll take. So that's a really good place to start. And then from there, it's one click away to apply.
Amazing.
And one last thing is just to add, there seems to be this misunderstanding out there that Endicott College is extraordinarily expensive. The truth of the matter is we're one of the least expensive graduate programs in Massachusetts. Our tuition is comparable to the state schools. So when people look at it, I think if they don't just go with that assumption, but actually look at the website and look what the costs really are, it's really very reasonable.
And then factor in the cost of time.
Absolutely.
Time, where you don't travel, where you have that ability. Like you said, the cohort model, you've got people right on Cape with you taking this course. Brian, a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great stuff. I'm Paula Hersey, and this is Profile.